to hurt you. He's explaining the way I'm feeling for all the jealousy I caused you. The snake's the reason why I'm trying to hide. As for all the things you taught me, it sends my future into clearer dimensions. You never know how much you hurt me. Stay a minute, can't you see that I wanna fall from the stars straight into your arms? I feel you, I hope you comprehend. Too many hearts are broken. A lover's promise never came with a maybe. So many words I left unspoken. The silent voices are driving me crazy. After all the pain you caused me, making love could never be your intention. You never know how much you hurt me. Stay, can't you see that I wanna fall from the stars straight into your arms? I feel you, I hope you comprehend.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the Motivator Show alongside, there she is, Lady Chelsea. How are you, Lady Chelsea?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, come on. Where's the energy, Lady Chelsea?
No, I don't have any.
Remember, this is the open mic weekender with positive messages for positive people. So, good morning, Lady Chelsea.
Good morning.
Oh, come on, we're live, huh? Blessed are the young, huh? Blessed are the young, huh? Oh yeah. This is going to be a fantastic show today, isn't it, Lady Chelsea?
Yeah.
Positive messages for positive people. Yeah. Messages that we can all take strength from and take growth from. Yeah. Messages that makes us feel good inside. Yeah. No traumatization, none of that. None of this horror and all this negativity that we're exposed to, huh? Let's get positive out there. Let's get empowering. That's the whole point of this show, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, let's begin the usual introduction. Huh? Let's begin. First of all, I want to give praise to Iron King, who took us from night to day. It's now daytime. When I woke up this morning, it was night, wasn't it? Huh? It was dark. When I got up, it was dark anyway. Huh? It was actually dark. But here we go. No past 8 o'clock. It has now become light again. Yeah? So there you are. I say praise be to Iron King for that determination. Never, of course, forgetting Galaxy Management here. I want to give praise to each time. I believe that management should be given praise. To hold this station in existence for more than 30, I'm told, 35 years, is a testament to determination with a big vision. Legacy for the next generation, okay? I want to give praise to Chief Pakambabai, to Elder Erekute, to Abu Ratata, and of course, her most excellent Empress Shignis, the Solutions Finder, Oh, I like Solutions Finder, None of this negativity. Focus. Solution. Growth. Success. Yeah? Is that right? Yeah. That's what I like to see, Oh my gosh, Okay, and of course, Nickel, the most royal, the longest serving pilot in the station, He's been here throughout that period alongside the Chief Pakambabai. I give praise to Nickel, the most royal. Praise Jah, Rastafari to you, So there you are. Give praise to those who've survived and have shown determination. This is the test of time, okay? Not a flash in the pan, No flash in the pan. Focus. Success, okay? I also, of course, want to give praise to you, Lady Chelsea.
Okay.
You did well last week.
Oh, okay. All right.
You did well last week, huh? I had to slide away, unfortunately, but I've seen the reviews of last week's program.
Yeah.
They were good, huh?
All right. Okay,
Oh yeah.
Great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The Motivator Show is safe in Lady Chelsea's hands.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
You take it. Well, you just take it. Yeah. Well done. And I really want to give praise to that program last week. A discussion we do not have enough in our community. A discussion on the effects of long COVID. I think why it's a discussion we don't have is troubling, because sometimes we are often as a community concerns about facing that which might be, a bit embarrassing, I say embarrassing, cute, isn't it? I think more, and maybe not embarrassing the right word, maybe sometimes we're not good at facing the truth, that these long-term conditions can have long-term implications for us, and I do believe that this is something we need to think about very carefully, we really do need to think about it very, very carefully. And I would encourage others who are watching this show to think about how we move forward as a community. Because we've got to face these hard issues, I say it's hard. I don't think it's really hard. It's just simply been made hard by our response to it, So I want to give praise, and of course to our guest last week. Didn't he speak well?
Yeah, he did.
It was very, very articulate.
It's a good guess.
What was your impression of him?
Sorry. It was good. It was good. Like he helped me out as well. But like his answers were clear. I think it was easy to understand, and he seemed to show that he had support and understood what he was going through, and still, like he said, he'd gone back to work and was trying to figure out how his life was now. So yeah, he seemed like a great guy.
I hear you. Yeah. I hear you, and it was important. It really was important discussion, and one, as I said before, one that we need to continue to have, because discussions about the long-term effects of long COVID, on the community is one we most certainly need to have. Continue to discuss it, because its effects will be pernicious. It will be insidious. You'll see people who are simply down, just feeling down, and down much of the time, without energy for much of the time. And I do believe that this is something we need to watch very carefully amongst our peoples, how we respond to long COVID, how we support those with long COVID. And it's something that we need to think very, very carefully about. I do believe, So thinking of Loria and his explanations of how it's affected him, I'm sure would have helped others to better understand the condition. And of course, those of us who are not suffering from long COVID, what we need to do to give our elders, brothers and sisters, the support that they need to continue their life, so their life continues to be meaningful. And this is a very, very important message. Very, very important message. But of course, that neatly takes me on to the other aspects of our work that I need to give light to. That's, of course, those crucial health messages.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about how we should maybe capture this part of the show in terms of a pre-prepared film suggested to me by a nutritionist, so that we can, in graphic terms, look at the cumulative impact of the key elements that I give light to. And let's start, of course, with sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, we all do it and have done it in the past. Place a spoon of sugar in our teas, coffees, or drink those fizzy drinks, or those really sweet cakes. Cumulative impact. I know. Cumulative impact over time, the build-up in our bodies and our body's ability to process the excess sugar in our bodies. It's, of course, what leads directly to diabetes. And as I've said previously, and I keep reminding listeners that diabetes in the Caribbean is seen as being an epidemic proportion. Here in the UK, and I'm sure across Europe and the Americas, it is most certainly at a level which is unacceptably high, particularly among people of African heritage. I know most certainly of Asian heritage, Indo-Asian, most certainly. We eat consume too much sugar. Yeah. And after a while, our pancreas, those organs responsible to process sugar in our bodies, find it difficult. As we become older and less able, our ability to process sugar declines. Okay. And that will directly lead to the particularly type 2 diabetes. So essentially, type 2 diabetes is a lifestyle disease, an avoidable disease. Okay, it affects far too many of us. Okay, so I ask you all to consider the amount of sugar you are ingesting. Yeah, you may think it's a small amount each day, but it has long-term cumulative impact. And if in doubt, speak to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist. Don't take it from me, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert. Yeah, okay, I want to emphasize that. I'm not an expert. Speak to your doctor, speak to your nutritionist if in doubt. I possess a public hat, and one of the responsibilities possessing one of my public hat, by that I'm an elected official. Okay, is of course that if I relay information to you, it's information that I've researched or received it firsthand from those who are experts. Okay, so I must ensure information I supply is validated, confirmed before sharing with you. Okay, because clearly, if I'm a trusted source of information, I've got to live up to that trust. Yes, there you are. Yeah, unlike many I see on the YouTube who just say most random. And when you ask them, "Are you insured?" Can you? In the event that your advice causes me harm, they of course slide away. Okay. Let me also ask listeners to consider the amount of salt that you ingest. Salt is again another one of those insidious chemicals that seep into our foods. Okay, often we're seeing buy these big chunks of salt in the supermarket, and you add it to our food for what? For what do you add it to? For flavor? Oh, for heaven's sake! Oh, for heaven's sake! That learned behavior. That learned behavior. We have got to reduce the amount of salt in our bodies. Why? Because, again, it affects us, particularly of African heritage, okay? It directly leads to hardened arteries and heightened blood pressure, or hypertension is typically called, okay? I ask you, please, to consider the amount of salt that you're ingesting, both when you put it into your food. Now, I always cite the example of fish and chips, you've got always salt on the fish. Oh my God. It's frightening sometimes when you see them do that, But sadly, it's present in the processed foods that we eat. And by that I mean those ready meals, If you look at the amount of salt in those foods, you'll find it quite astonishing levels. Okay, it's usually hidden in some chemical descriptors. Okay, but it's the same thing. Salt is salt is salt. Okay, they call it sea salt. It's salt. They call it table salt. It's salt. Yeah. Okay. Remember that. It has cumulative impact on our bodies, and hypertension or high blood pressure is a big killer. Okay. It's a big killer. Not only does it lead to aneurysms of all sorts, but most certainly heart attacks and all the other ailments that are the after effects of far too high a pressure in our bodies, because our arteries becoming clogged or hardened. Okay. Another big killer, of course, is fats. And fat come in many guises. I've cited the example of the butcher and the white meat, the white stuff in the meat, and you pay the same price for the fat as you do for fried meat, ridiculous things. And then we add fat to the way we prepare our foods as well. You fry foods, dump it in the fat. Oh my gosh, But dairy products are essentially fat from cows, or sheep, and other delights, pork, riddled with fat,
Oh, don't say that.
Just take the fat off, I say to people. Huh? But fat accumulates around your organs, okay? And that becomes a burden on us, okay? You see lots of people with bulging faces, bulging abdomens, yeah? I see women with lovely, lovely behinds, but essentially just fat. What? It's just fat.
Yeah, you're right. You're
It's
right.
just fat, isn't it? Yeah? It's just fat. I admit sometimes it looks pretty good. Don't misunderstand me. It's just fat. And the effect is, as you get older, you place a greater burden on your heart. Okay? And you very rarely find people who are extremely overweight living for long periods of time, living healthy lives for long periods of time, generally. If you show me someone who'd lived to 100 years old, who's overweight, who's obese, I'd love to see that person. Can you call anyone living to 100 years old who's obese?
No.
There's good reason for that, So we've just got to think about the impact of our actions, These are self-inflicted wounds. I know it's hard for some people to understand. That's why I've had some reaction in some places. Why do it? I said, but if we don't remind people of what we're doing to ourselves, we'll continue to do this. So we have a public health duty to remind people our actions have consequences. Okay, and to encourage, of course, people to drink the appropriate amount of water each day, at least 2 or 3 liters, depending upon your body mass. If in doubt, speak to your nutritionist, speak to your doctor. Yeah, and I know that they will encourage you to eat far more fruits and vegetables. An apple a day, keep the diseases away.
Yes.
There you go. Fruits and vegetables. Eat far more of that. That should be 90% of our diet and maybe 10% or so of these meat products. Ideally. But that's learned behavior. You've got to remind ourselves what we would have eaten 200-300 years ago. Okay. Because our bodies, our bodies haven't caught up with our technological age. You see? Our bodies still think we are back at the time when we were living off the land. Yeah, and we didn't have all these processes and excesses. Okay, we lived off the land and ate what was available. Yeah, and our bodies are adjusted to that. Therefore, all the excess salts, excess sugars, excess fats, excess carbohydrates, these wheat products, okay, accumulate in our bodies and blow us up, blow us up in all ways, both up and wide, Okay, and they become a burden to us, a health burden over time.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay? So I say to you all, it's important to think about what you're eating, but most crucially, as the nutritionist I know, and she's a formidable character, and I've said this before anyway, will tell us, you've got to exercise. Exercise is mission critical, because hitherto you would have to walk. Yep. You would have to run. You would have had to catch your food. You have to work the land or run to catch your food. Okay, and your bodies love it because you're exercising your bodies. Your bodies crave exercise.
Yeah.
If you don't exercise your bodies, you are undermining your body's ability to defend yourself against all the maladies out there, against the bacteria and their impact on your body, the viruses and their impact upon your body. So you're undermining your immune response. Because much of these diseases can be resisted. Our immune systems are built, are very robust, and many of these diseases, these bacteria, these viruses have been known by our bodies, okay? And we can defend ourselves against it. But you have to take care of yourself, ourselves. I said enough?
That's true.
There you go. I'll pause there because I think that's enough. But I hope, please, those who are listening And those who say, oh, I'm not going to take any notes of the motivator. I'm not going to have him telling me what to do. No, if I want to fill my teas or coffees with sugar, I will. And if I want to put a half a litre of salt in my food, I will. And I say to you, okay. Well, I say to you, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, let them, it's fine.
Okay, that's what you wish, you know. But your actions have consequences, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There you are.
That's true. Yeah.
If you live longer, I don't earn any more money.
That's true.
I wonder for some people, they think I'm going to earn money out of something. I'll gain something out of it.
Yeah.
If I am to gain, it's the pleasure of knowing that I've made a difference to your life in a positive way. This program, yeah, it's an open mic weekender, yeah?
Yeah.
Positive messages for positive people. And I say to you all, be positive. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There you go. There you are.
Yeah.
That's in tune. That's in tune. So let me now continue, Lady Chelsea. So we talked about last week, and we want to thank Brother Leroy for his presentation, responses to your questions, and I want to congratulate you on taking that last hour in a solo form. Well done, well done. I would also give praise and recognition to Steve Martin, our local historian. I spoke to him during the week. He's engaged in fantastic work, gathering information about our presence here in Britain. And I look forward to having him on the show again in a few months' time. Well done, Steve Martin. I also want to give praise, of course, to Joan Green, our resident teacher, author, the author of the book How to Pass 11 Plus on the Other Examinations. Okay, she is a teacher, an educationist. She's produced a book. It's still an Amazon what do you call it? An Amazon, oh my gosh.
Bestseller?
Bestseller, forgive me. Amazon bestseller. I've got look at one. Amazon bestseller. Well done, Sister Joan. And I know that there are a series of events that she will most probably call up later on, tell us about, but I would give a clap to her.
Yeah.
We encourage our teachers to produce materials that parents can use to teach children, okay? I want to encourage those historians to continue to produce their media so that we can learn and understand better our involvement, our contribution to Europe, Britain, and the world, yeah? Because this is part of that pernicious propaganda that to be designed to effectively whitewash African involvement in world civilization, okay? We need to counter it, continue to counter it, you know? Its pernicious effect on British society is plain to see, okay? And of course, I want to continue to give praise to other contributors to this show and a few others that I've not mentioned. If I've not mentioned you, forgive me for that, but I will just mention very quickly. Brother Neer of the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools. I want to give praise to you, Brother Neer, and I hope that schools that I've become aware of, particularly here in London, have all registered with you on the website. And those of you who are looking for and to identify a local supplementary school or Saturday school to help your sons and daughters with their studies, please go to the National Association of Black Supplementary Schools website, and you'll be able to find a local school. And if in doubt, his number is quoted on the website. Just call him. He'll be more than happy to give you whatever assistance he can. He's a great brother, someone whose commitment to the cause is beyond, in my view, all expectations. I would say, praise Jah to him, you know, really give him a real support. Yeah. And lastly, I want to give recognition to all those brothers and sisters who are members of the Global African Congress UK. I want to give praise to them. They are a group of most inspired members of the community whose sole devotion is to promote the issue of reparations. And of course, reparations begins with self. Yeah, it begins with self. This show is essentially a reparations show because it begins with self. Remember, the motto is success is ours. There we go. It's ours for the taking.
Yeah.
Okay. It's ours for the taking. It's an attitude of mind, okay? I want to encourage those who are listening to develop that positive view of themselves, community, the world, okay? And together, we can all make a difference for our families and our children's sake. Okay, so the Global African Congress is a wonderful organization, and if you're not a member, let me positively encourage you to seek out membership. You can find them, you can find their Facebook page under Global African Congress UK, and you can sort of become a friend and link up with them there, or indeed you can find the website, Global African Congress. Just use the search engine and you'll find the website, or the website is www.gacuk.org.uk. I repeat, www.gacuk.org.uk. All right, and that way you can make contact with the Global African Congress. If you're not a member of an organization, you need to become a member of an organization. And I can assure you, there are a group of very mature, socially mature, emotionally mature Africans whose sole devotion is to find ways to uplift yourself, your family, our community. I commend the Global African Congress UK to yourselves. Okay. I think that's enough of my announcement. And if I can go over to you, Lady Chelsea, and let's remind ourselves of young Malachi. Okay, tell us more about young Malachi.
So this little section is the competition, but dedicated and praising Malachi, who was homeschooled by his mother, Sister Sekmet, who we remember every week, as we were impressed with how she's raising him, what she's doing. She's homeschooling him, and we were proud of him, the young man that he was. He's written a book, which is part of the prize for the competition, which is called Tutankhamun, The Tale of the Adventurous Boy King, which is also on Amazon, which you can get, I think, for £15. So we support him and his journey. And so we, like normal, I have 2 questions, one for under 10s and one for 11 to 16-year-olds. I'll read out the numbers so everyone can be prepared, and you can call at any time during the show if you have the answers. Okay, so the number is 020 348 15240. Then you'll be asked for a PIN number, which is 3707334397, followed by the hash key sign. Okay, so the first question I have is for children under 10. Let me just turn up the volume. Cool.
Question 1. How do you spell Tutankhamun?
So that's, how do you spell Tutankhamun? Then second question for 11 to 16-year-olds.
Question 9. Who or what did the people of Kemet worship during the time of Tutankhamun?
So that's, who or what did the people of Kemet worship at the time of Tutankhamun?
Okay. Whew. I know I got away to say whew after that. Wow. You haven't spoken to me about those questions, have you?
Not a conversation. I didn't. Yeah, no, not a conversation.
That's all right. Don't worry. It is fascinating, but it would be interesting to see how we progress with this interesting question. Okay, so the question's designed for people of different age groups,
Yeah.
and they are if in doubt, you can do your research in advance. Okay?
Yeah.
And it does vary from week to week, admittedly, but
I tried to keep it consistent for a while.
Say again?
Actually, I haven't changed them in a bit to try and help people out, but I don't know.
Yeah.
People are taking the bait. And I was like,
But they are, they are important questions. They're important questions. Well, they encourage moms and dads, boys and girls. Did you tell them what prizes they're going to have?
Sorry, yes. The prize was the
Incentivization. What? Incentivization.
It's not going to show up, but the book that he wrote, and the £25.
£25.
Yes, a little bit.
I wonder, maybe
money.
I've always thought that £25 if someone's 10 below is still a lot of money.
Yeah, I'd say 10 below. I hope.
Well, yeah.
I don't know what I would give. Yeah, £25 is, because if it's yeah, I think so.
Maybe enough incentive, but it is interesting, and we are very determined, and we need to maybe do some more research on this one and speak to parents and others just to understand, are these questions too challenging? And that is, of course, most telling for community, of course. Clearly, Tutankhamun is an important figure in African history. And it's important to note that it is African history.
Yeah.
It's not Middle Eastern history.
Yeah.
Okay. And Egypt, it's very much in Africa.
That's true.
If in doubt, please look at the map. Public figure information I recite to you should be validated and checked. Okay, but it is interesting. I know here in this country, the pernicious propaganda projects European images over African images. Okay, so of course, often you see a film on the and what the leader of this station would call the tell-lie vision. He would say, well, the tell-lie vision only ever projects of an African monarch, a European person. So of course, many of those here in this part of Eurasia will have of Tutankhamun and the pharaohs of Egypt of European images. So they assume, therefore, they must have been European. Wow. Huh? Can you imagine if Africans in Africa were projecting images of Elizabeth II being African? I think the British might grumble a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. It is astonishing. Or for an African to project of the Emperor of China as being an African person. Yeah. Chinese might say something to you about that, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Oh, indeed. I wonder if a Chinese person, emperor, came to Britain and dug up the graves of past British monarchs, and then took the bones and exhibited them in China. What? What are you asking?
That wouldn't go down well.
Did I say more? So this is why this type of pernicious propaganda has to be countered, because obviously it is morally wrong. And if I am wrong, I'd invite those who are listening to phone, because this is the open mic weekender, positive messages for positive people. And if I've got it wrong, please, you may phone. Okay, I give them that much, And the number to dial, if you're so minded, it's 0203 481 5240. You're asked to enter a PIN number, which of course is 3707 33 43. 97, followed by the ash sign. This is what Lady Chelsea didn't do. It's the vertical and the horizontal line on your keypad. Okay. If you're viewing us via either Facebook or indeed YouTube, you can, of course, see the number on the screen. And if you are viewing us through Facebook or YouTube, please like us. No, that's thumb up. Like us. Or if you wish, in Facebook, you can follow us, so that we simply send you notifications of what will happen on the program. Or if you're viewing us via YouTube, please, just subscribe, and all what will happen, you'll receive notifications of the next program. We do nothing else but send you a notification. That's all, so you're aware of what the subject matter will be in the next program. So press subscribe. Go to the Motivator Show homepage. You see the subscribe button, and simply press subscribe. I'm told I should do that more often. Okay, so there okay. There you are. Subscribe. Okay, anyway, okay. Enough of that. But the crucial message here, of course, is that if Britain is to regain greatness, it has to come to terms with its past. Okay, there is no doubt about that. Okay, so I want to encourage people to be truthful. That's all I say. Be truthful, and I do understand. I completely understand that the national curriculum is so imperial centric that if you have a distorted view of the world, I completely understand. I went through the education system myself. And most certainly, if I hadn't had the balance at home and my community around me, conscious community around me, I most certainly would have a very dim view of what it is to be an African person. And I most probably would not be proud of it. Okay. And that's the impact of the current imperial British education system on the psyche, even of someone of African heritage. Setting aside those who are of Euro-Asian heritage. That's the impact, the psychological impact. And of course, it's then little wonder that those who've gone through the education system then find it difficult to relate to people of colours, people of different cultures. They see them as a threat that's different and you're not part of the same family. It's inevitable, an inevitable outcome. Yeah. But I say to you, that was orchestrated that way in order to control people. Yeah. You have ordinary working class people, middle class people who see people of different colours being a threat somehow. But yet, the persons who are holding control of the companies they work for or the public service they work for, highly educated, okay, well, I have to tell you, they may have less of your interest at heart than my family members might have.
Yeah.
But that's a difficult concept for many to fully appreciate, But so I say again, Britain needs to come to terms with the imperial past. That's what it needs. That's what needs to happen. It needs to a complete review, so that ordinary people see the truth for what it really is, as opposed to the propaganda that we are currently exposed to. Okay?
Yeah.
After all, and of course, I'm always reminded of the more recent announcement by the War Graves Commission, and discussing the pernicious and pervasive racism which resulted in more than 350,000 Africans and people from East Asia and South Asia who contributed to the world wars, never being commemorated here in Britain.
Yeah.
Without them, Britain would not have won those wars. Let me say again, Britain would not have won those wars. But yet their names were not included in the war graves memorials, or not mentioned, even by the monarch, let alone the prime ministers of the time. I say to you, that was disgraceful. But I say again, because of the manner in which people are taught, the way they're being taught about different people, different cultures, it is an inevitable outcome. It's a manifestation of what they've learned. pernicious, pervasive racism is resulted in that. Okay, which is why when you go down the Mall, there is no recognition of the contributions of people of color, of African heritage, Asian heritage, have contributed to Britain and the survival of Britain as a nation. Fundamentally, I say that because next month we'll have Remembrance Day, you know. Let me give a shout out to Selena Carty of the Black Poppy Rose campaign, who appears on this show. I'm going to give a big shout out to her for reminding us that there are elderly ex-service women and men who need our support. Because much of these poppies, the red poppies, does not go to them. They're not receiving the money or the financial support.
Yeah.
You know, how disgraceful. But they fought, and many of them have been maimed in protection of Britain. I say that with a heavy heart, I say with a heavy heart, but it is a fact. If in doubt, please, I love you all, just go and verify. And if I've got it wrong, please, you can call up and tell me I've got it wrong. That's fine. And you know what? I might be taught something from yourselves. You know, I don't mind being wrong. It's great. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong.
Yeah, so you learn.
The truth is hurtful, you know? It is hurtful. And it's really meaning. Yeah. And it's got to change. And it's got to change. It's not acceptable. Okay? But it does start with the monarch, though. Yeah, it does start with the monarch. Giving recognition, make it absolutely clear that Britain is Britain because of the contribution made by Africans, either from Africa, from Caribbean, from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, from Thailand, those outlying, they've come here to contribute to the war effort, to protect Britain. Yeah, democracy and so-called freedom.
Yeah.
Yes? Oh, you're yawning, Lady Chelsea.
Sorry. I'm not bored.
You've been up too long, I know you've been up too long. You know? So that is the truth. That is the truth. And, you know, I'd welcome dialogue with those who are in power or being responsible for that, and to give us a first-hand account of what they are going to do to change that situation. Okay? But there, as I say again, there are no persons of color in the Mall. Okay? That's where we go down for the National Remembrance Service. That's where the monarch would appear.
Okay.
There's no persons of color.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it is.
And this is supposed to be a multicultural, tolerant society. Anyway, I said enough of that. I want to give a shout out for Selena Carty of the Black Poppy Rose campaign, and we hope to hear from her soon at some point in November. But it's an important piece of work that she's engaged in, raising money for ex-service men and women from the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia. I say to you, praise Jah, Rastafari. Long may you continue your excellent work. You know, long may you continue those excellent works. Okay. Now, so positive messages, Lady Chelsea, and I should say to everyone, the phone lines are open. We want you to share your positive messages, okay? Because I'm told we don't open the phone lines up early enough, okay?
Yeah.
So this week, I know. So this week, decided, well, it's an open mic, okay? You can share with us those positive messages, okay? Okay. And I want to reiterate, positive messages. We're not really wanting messages which just talked about the behavior of other people's against us, okay? I want messages that we can take examples from and take courage and strength from and use that knowledge in our own lives. Okay. So I know for some people it's quite challenging. It's true. Well,
Sure.
I spoke to a number of people prior to this show and said, look, this is what we could do this weekend. Explain what it is.
Yeah.
And said, oh, yeah. And they have to think about it, because they want to recite what's been done to us rather than what is happening that is positive. That we can take strength from. So, if you have a memory, a story that you want to share with us, okay, I'll give you the number again. So it's 0203 481 5240. You're asked to enter a PIN number. It's 3707 33 43 97, followed by the ash sign. Of course, it's the usual vertical and horizontal symbol on your keypad. Okay, we'd love to hear from you. It's an open mic weekend. Positive messages for a positive people. Okay, it's that confidence we want to promote. Yeah, we want to raise our confidence levels. In essence, we want to raise our energy levels. Yeah, we want good mental health. Yeah, good spiritual health. That's what we want to raise. Okay, enough of all this negativity, enough of all that nonsense. We want to raise ourselves so you are confident, you move forward with confidence. Lady Chelsea, I hope your eyes are okay. We move forward with confidence. Okay, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we continue to go from strength to strength. That's what we want to make sure. Okay. Now, enough of me. Lady Chelsea, you might have we may have a caller now. We have a caller. I'd like to ask you a question, but let's take this caller first of all, before I ask that question of you. Good morning, caller. Good morning, caller. With the number ending 8409. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm Joan Green, the author of All You Need to Know About 11 Plus and More.
Oh, Sister Joan, I mentioned your name earlier. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Oh, you have a positive message for us, do you?
Most definitely, I do. I just
Go
want
ahead.
people to know that I will be doing a book signing and talking about my book on the 28th of October at the Golden Anchor, 16 Evelina Road, Nunhead, London, SE15 2DX. It's going to be phenomenal. And I also have another event on the 30th. That was my personal event. I will be talking more about my book and the impact, the benefits, and just let parents to know what it is to really prepare their children for this program, 11 plus. Really how to deal with things, change your mindset. So I'd like people to come on out on the 30th. I've got all the details in terms of my Zoom link, because that is in the progress. I think I'll speak to Mr. Martin Seaton about this. It will be at between 3 and 4 on the 30th. More details to follow. So I'll give Mr. Seaton all of these details for next week, Saturday.
Wonderful. A question for you. Someone asked me this question. Okay, why did you call the book 11 plus and not examinations? To pass examinations. Why call it 11 plus? Just so we're clear.
I think that's the age of children actually do the exam, but they start preparing long before that. That's the age they actually do the examination. They're going to be in year 6, the beginning of year 6, and that's when most children turn 11. So they call it 11 plus. Beautiful.
So I've captured that information you've shared with us. Thank you so much for that. Can I ask you, are you able, Sister Joan, now we've talked about the book and your book signing, and I want to give promotion to that, are you able to share with us another positive message, an experience that has empowered you to do the work you're engaged in now?
You know what empowered me is to see children driven or striving for the best.
Yes.
To see children at the end of the day going university and achieving their goals and aspirations. I think that's what pushed me the most. And those children who sometimes, even not doing 11, but struggled, and at the end, they're doing very well. And I think that's what drives me. Also, to see single parents, not encouraging single parents, but parents who are single, who are struggling and pushing and just keep pushing on for their children to do their best.
And tell me, just so we're clear then, so I understand that is absolutely, you can see the outcome of your work, okay? Are you aware, have you been, I'm not sure, you've been in education for some time. Can you tell us, as a result of working with children, where some of those children are now? Are some in universities? What universities gone to?
Wow.
Jobs?
I've got so much. Right. I could say last week, one parent called me many years ago, and her son is now going to university. And she said she found my number. Somewhat she lost it. And you know what? She called, and I said, "Who is this? Can I help you?" And she said, "Is this Miss Green?" I said, "Yes." And she was, "I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for believing in my son, because he's now starting university." And I said, "Oh, that's really lovely to hear." And he just wanted to say thank you, because if it wasn't for you, he would not be where he is today. So you know what? That's just one example of many. You know, this week the examination came out, the last one for my group of children, and every last child was successful at passing 2, 3, or 1 of the examination.
Wow.
For the 11 plus this year. And I'm like, oh my God, it's just phenomenal. I'm just excited. I'm thrilled. I'm just head over heels with all of this that's happening. And it has been recurring year after year. I'm getting the same results. So I guess I'm doing right. Something right.
And if I may, what I've got you for a moment, because what you're describing are experiences I've also shared. But a question for you then. Is it your teaching technique that distinguishes you, or is it that it's a teaching technique and the fact that you are a person of African heritage who cares, and you communicate that caring to the children, that encourages them to move to growth in terms of their education?
I think it's both. I would not, I'm not going to separate it. It's both. I think my heritage and the way we actually do things to care for those children as our own really impacts a lot. And I do it from the perspective as a mother as well. Because we nurture. Mothers are nurturers, and I nurture my children.
Thank you for that, and that's a very useful observation. Thank you. I have to say, being a father, of course, but fathers are carers. We absolutely love our children. Okay, I didn't want to say that just for the record. You know, and we'll do anything for our
just children. From a mother perspective.
I know.
Yeah.
Sister Joan, thank you for the call. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. May I say this as well, just to let people know that I do have a Saturday school that I run every Saturday from 10 to 12 in Thamesmead.
Okay. You want to give out your telephone number or an email address? They can contact you.
Okay, my email address is...
What do I do?
My website is www.brightertuition.co.uk.
Say slower. www.brightertuition.
www.brightertuition.co.uk.
Brilliant.
And my business number is 0784-1678409.
Wow, you say so quickly. I'm going to repeat it. Don't worry, I'll repeat it. You contact Sister Joan, our outstanding teacher practitioner. It's 07841
78409.
Okay, you can tell she's a teacher to take control. Okay, thank you, Sister Joan. Thank you for that
Thank
communication.
You for having me and listening to me this morning.
Pleasure. Take care then. Blessings to you. Blessings and keep up
Thank you. Blessings
remarkable work.
my sister, what's her name?
Sister Chelsea. Lady Chelsea's right here.
Lady Chelsea. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, my sister. Yeah. Thank you. I believe we've got another call on the line. 9972. I'm going to hand over to you, Lady Chelsea. I'll let you handle this person.
Okay. Hi. We have call ending in 9972.
Good morning. It's me, Norma.
Oh, hi. Hi, Norma. How are you?
Norma. Good morning.
Yes, it is. I must say good morning to you both. I might have to log out at some point during this discussion because my daughter is not very well. And at the moment, I've rubbed her up with Vicks that we normally do.
Yes.
Yes, right. And she's gone back up. But if she comes down and then I need to attend to her, then I'll just have to leave you all.
Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'll just let you know. So, yeah, about the show today, it's about what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my case, my happiness is having my family around.
Yeah.
And I always believe a strong root produces good branches. Look at a tree. That's an set an example to the younger generation, the older generation should, if you want the younger generation to carry that on, okay? I see my family most days when I'm home, because I'm not always home. I'm a very active person, so I'm often out. But when I'm home, I do see them quite often. But the most important and happy time is Boxing Day. And that's the day when we all meet up, which is about 40 to 45 of us.
Oh, wow.
Most times it's 40, Lady Chelsea. The reason is it depends on work schedule.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody knows that it's Nanny's Day, Boxing Day. So everybody got in diary when it is Boxing Day, when we all meet up. Everybody, no matter where in the world you are, you come home. But there are occasions when that's not possible because of work. If they're in London and they're working, they would join us later in the evening. But if they're outside London, we accept them not driving all the way along the M25 to get to us. It's too dangerous. We can manage without that, yeah?
Yeah.
And before we started our Boxing Day celebration, because our family's so large, huge, we used to go to the theatre, all of us. But the family got so big, then we had to stop. Then we took over a restaurant, and we find that was too expensive because the family got bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So now we go to whoever got a big house to accommodate all of us.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of people.
Unfortunately, yes, they have a big house. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sorry, carry on. I'll let you speak.
Okay. Why is your family important to you? Why do you think? Why is this day? Why do you make it like this, where you have to see everybody on this one day?
Why do I make
bringing everyone together? Yeah. Why is it important?
Because it makes you stronger.
Oh,
in what way?
Well said.
It makes you stronger. Like anything else, if whatever group of people you're in together, if you're like joining a group, any group, the more you are and you stick together, the stronger you are. And I want my family to be. Sorry.
I'm saying well said. Well said. Yeah.
Right. I want my family to be strong. I want everyone to stay together. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I set an example to my children, who now pass it on to their children.
Mm-hmm.
And we hope we pass it on to their children, that family are strong. The root of a tree shows you the branches, as I said before. So that's why family means a lot to me. And that's at birthday time, when they send me birthday messages, I reply, thank you. And then I also pointed out to them is what they, I'll just send a message out saying, thank you all very much. And then I send them a quote, and I usually send them something that it's not the house, the size of the house, is how happy you are in the house. All I ask is you all stay together.
Yeah.
And that was my thank you to my children every year when they send me birthday cards. Well, we do it by WhatsApp now because there's not much card going around, but I usually put some around the world and whatever. But I usually put a little quote of reminding them, as long as all I need them to do is stay together. So your question, why does it mean it keeps you stronger?
Okay.
Wow.
I hear that.
Okay?
I like that. Yeah. How would you advise keeping a family together? Because obviously, you know, can't get on all the time. But how do you think you've done it?
Well, we're not all going to get on, but there are other people, but in every family, you'll always find somebody that gets on with most people. So in our family, what we do, if you've got two they're mostly boys, and if two of them don't get on, the others will take them out and talk to them. The uncles will do that as well, but just say the children, just say the grandchildren, really. If they're not, others will take it on. So somebody else in the family. With not every single one of us not speaking. There are people who speak, and the ones who are doing the speaking is the ones who will try and sort it out. And believe me, it gets sorted out. And then at the end result, it comes to me.
Okay.
And then I sort it.
My elder Norma, so would you consider yourself to be the matriarch of the family?
That's right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes. It goes to the others first, and then it still not seems to be solving, then it comes to me, and I solve it, and my word goes.
The elders spoken.
Yeah. I've spoken, the word goes, and that's it. So touch wood, thank the Lord, whatever one, we don't have major problems because we solve them before they get to that stage. Wonderful. We never had to really go down that road. Probably once or twice in many years, but very rare. Because all you do is make a phone call to uncles, to older brothers, and it gets solved. I'll give you one example, Lady Chelsea, and I'm going to do it in a parable way. One of my grandsons called me one day, and for the older listener, I will do it very delicate for the younger listeners as well. Said to me, Nan, can I come and talk to you? And I said, yes. And then I had a quick thought came to my thought, and I said, if it's of a sexual nature, I suggest you call one of your uncles. And he said, Nan, no, it's nothing like that. So I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was, because I thought he was, not that he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I thought that's where uncles are for.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right, yes. Yeah. So you see the way I put it. So I just said, no. That's where your uncles are for. And he said, no, that wasn't what it was. And so he came and see me, and we talked. And he said he was stressed, and So, and we talked about it, and it's fine. So that's what families should be doing. Because remember, we don't sit down around the tables anymore and have dinners because of work schedule and things like that. People work a long way from home. People have to move away from home, from their family. It makes it difficult. So we should give once a year. If everybody try and meet up, we can't all do it, I must understand, because you might not have the house for it, big space for it if you've got a large family. But now you can also do the internet. We also do we do WhatsApp? We got family WhatsApp, which lots of people have, and we play games.
Yes. Normally,
we send quizzes. The Motivator, I did send you a quiz yesterday, where people had to, in the family, guess what is you get something like you get rice, and you've got a coconut, and something else, and you have to decide what it is. And so it goes to all their family work around the world, and everybody decide what they think, whether it's rice and peas, or it is rum punch, or whatever it is. But we play games. That way we communicate with each other. And when anybody doesn't log in, we want to know why. Something must have happened, why you haven't logged in. So that's one part of keeping family together. You know,
Norma,
sorry?
I'm going to ask you just to pause for a moment. We've got another person on the line. Just pause, because you are providing gems of common sense. You know, this is common sense. You know, families must stay together. Yeah, and respect the elders in those families. And you are the matriarch, and what you describe is how to keep families together, and therefore, where there's a problem, where aired is a problem shared. You know, and that's so important. So therefore, families become the strength of the individuals, and those individuals, therefore, better capable of coping with the stresses and strains of life. You know, families are critically important. Mums, dad, uncles and aunts, great grandmothers, great grandfathers, they are critical in ensuring the stability of our community. You just hold on there, my elder. I don't want you to go. I know we've got another elder on the line, and he doesn't mind me saying this, I'm sure. Elder Kwaku, how are you, sir? How are you, sir? I honour and respect.
Good morning. I am fine.
Okay. You, I'm sure, have a few positive messages to share with us. I know you have a series of positive events on. Share those events details with us, please, my brethren.
Okay, in that case, I've just got to quickly
I'm going to encourage you, if you could turn up your volume a little bit. You're a bit faint, Vincent.
Okay, maybe I have to come a bit closer.
There you are. Better. That's much better.
Okay. I work across music and history, but this being African history season, we don't do a month, we do a season at the very least. I'll just rattle down the events, and they all, since people are listening to your show online, whether on Galaxy Afiwi or on your YouTube channel, they've got access to the internet, then you can go to our microsite on Eventbrite, which is African History Plus, PLUS, AfricanHistoryPlus.eventbrite.com. So I'll just rattle down what we have, and maybe if we can drill down a couple, that'll be fine.
Great.
Next Monday, all the events apart from this Wednesday coming are on a Monday, 6 to 9 UK time. So next Monday, October 25th, we have Today, Brixton is Locked Off. The day Black Lives Matter shut down Brixton. This was something that happened. I don't know if people know Brixton, but the main thoroughfare where you've got the road leading to Cole Harbour Lane, Long Acre, and Brixton Hill. That is the main thoroughfare, and there was a Black Lives Matter protest. It went to the Brixton police station, and then coming back to Windrush Square, some bright person had an idea to lock down the road. The police were there, they didn't do much about it, and I left after 6 hours. And apart from one ambulance that crossed the picket line, so to speak, no bus, no vehicle moved through that thoroughfare in 6 hours.
Right.
So that is also speaking to African-led protests, street protests. Like every 1st August, we have the African Emancipation Day march.
Yes.
So we're looking at the history and also asking, can our protests be effectively managed without necessarily going on the streets? Because look at the different communities, the Asian community, the Jewish community, they make so much gains, and I don't remember really seeing them on the streets. Maybe in the 80s, 70s, and certainly in the 60s, when we had black, meaning people of African and Asian descent, and there was that solidarity. Yes, we march against the Immigration Acts and also some of the racist type of what should I say, acts, and also how the state was impacting on African and Asian communities. But yes, so this is looking at something that the newspapers didn't cover. I suspect they didn't cover because there was no violence, there was no arrest. Had there been violence, probably you may have heard of this. So that's what we're doing. And then on the Wednesday, that's the only odd day. On the Wednesday, 27th October, we've got racism, crime, and policing the Johnson Cummings Sewell Dick moment. This is a presentation by our esteemed brother Cecil Gatsmore, who is a long-time community activist and historian. I know people have forgotten about the Sewell report, but what we're doing is that the hullabaloo has died down. This is now a time to reflect in terms of policing, crime, and the criminalization of young African men. And I think Cecil, who's been around since the 60s, would have a useful analysis of these topics. Then, on November 1st, where would reggae be if it was not for migration? Indeed. So I'm positing that had we not had migration, first of all, the enforced trafficking of Africans from Africa into the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica, and then the voluntary migration of African Caribbean people to the UK, reggae might have been just another niche music, because remember, there's a whole lot of music from the Caribbean that are not mainstream. In fact, what should I say? Calypso, that was big in the 50s and 60s, it's now gone down. There's Zouk, so many types of music in the Caribbean which are niche music, and I posit that had we not had this migration, probably it might have ended up as another Caribbean niche music. Then on November 8th, we've got police and criminalization of African youth by numbers. This, we know that African youth have been, what shall I say, criminalized by the police, especially rogue police such as D.S. Derrick Ridgewell. By the way, so this is an exclusive for you. You're the first person to hear this. Okay. We did get in touch with the Chief Constable of the British Transport Police, and I got a reply 2 days ago. We're saying 2 cases have been overturned, the Oval 4 and the Stockwell 6. Indeed. In each of those cases, a representative of the British Transport Police has given an apology. We're saying that we need to go further than that. It wasn't just the direct victims that suffered trauma, but the whole British African community did. Absolutely. So what we're demanding of the British Transport Police is first an apology to the whole British African community, and also for a bursary to be set up for a young person from the British African community who's got an acceptance to a British university to study either law or criminology. So I have to say that the response has been quite good, and I'm waiting till Monday, after I've had some feedback from some of my colleagues who've been discussing this issue, to reply. But I have to say the response from the British Transport Police has been positive to these 2 demands. So on 8th November, I'm hoping that we'll have a development as an update to input into the police and criminalization of African British youth by numbers. This is a bit different. By the way, Cecil Gatsmore is a co-presenter. I'll be leading all these presentations. I have what I call a video mashup. And I'll be looking at cases where our young people have been criminalized by numbers. So it starts from 2, like Tottenham Court Road 2, Oval 4, Mangrove 9, Taunton Heath 15, Islington 18.
Too many, in short, my brethren, too many been criminalised by the police. And this is a social construct, said earlier on, the result of the extremely poor education system, which teaches history from such a distorted point of view, so jaundiced, that of course it's inevitable that English, Scots, Irish and Welsh people have a negative view of peoples of African or of colour that reside in this country. And therefore, to target them for criminalisation is to undermine their social economic worth and thereby prevent them from gaining the achievement that this country rightly deserves. So this country be denied the energy, the creativity, the economic growth that those young men and indeed women could contribute to Britain. So I hear you, and this is why we must keep reminding people this has happened, and therefore the reason why it happened must be amended, must change. Change
Absolutely.
is necessary, and we demand change. Go on, my Brendan. I interrupted you. Continue.
No, it's no problem. I mean, that was a useful intervention. So just to remind you, maybe I'm rattling on, and my wife says I speak too quickly. So if you don't get the gist of what I'm saying, please, at your leisure, go to African History Plus. That's PLUS. African History Plus, Eventbrite, and all these things are listed there. But going on November 15th, we've got a program called 1974, That Carib Club Story and Other Clubline Horror story histories. What happened was that in 1974, a club in Brent, Cricklewood, it was called the Carib Club or Burton's, was raided by the police. The excuse was that an African youth they were interested in had run into the club. And to cut a long story short, 12 people in that club, including one of the sound system operators, Dennis Bovell, had to appear in court. First to the magistrate's court, and then it ended up at the Old Bailey. Dennis, amongst 3 others, ended up being sentenced. Right. It was reduced in the end. It was overturned, but that was a criminalization of our young people, and that happens a lot in the club, in the sense that the police, and I'm talking, these are historic things. That does not mean to say it doesn't happen in the 21st century, and certainly in the 2020s. But I'm speaking to historic events. The Carib Club was not the only one that was so targeted. There was the Swan Disco. There was another club in Houston. The name is just gone over my Despair, for example, in Houston. So you have police systematically targeting clubs where Africans congregated with the flimsy excuses. And then, of course, we have things like what became the Mangrove 9, which was the targeting of an eatery, a club, a community hub in Labrador. And I must say, since you're obviously interested in history, our brother, the late Joseph Hunt, published a book or a booklet called I'm not going to spell or pronounce the full word because it is a slur, the N hunting, which was a proactive stance taken by the police in the 60s and the 70s to target African people and criminalize them.
If I may, and I think that's a really important piece of history, which may still apply today in more insidious form, that indeed the police were encouraged to target young Black or African men and women who were going about their lawful business on the street, and to stop and search them, effectively to harass them, to agitate, so that they are compelled by virtue of that interaction to put them into a police car, take them to a police jail, and put them in jail. Can you imagine? If it happened once, that's fair enough. Twice, fair enough. 3 times, But when it happens 300 times, 900 times, 9,000 times, then that's orchestrated. Okay?
No.
I mean, sanctioned, and it's important to note, both by Conservative, and I say to my shame, Labour governments. Because Labour government failed to intervene in what was clearly a racist act by the police force.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned
that to my shame. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, my budget.
No, I'm glad you mentioned females, because we tend to think it's only the young male youths that are criminalized by the police. But for example, in the case of the Burning Spear Club in Houston, it was females who got the brunt of that, and had to go to the magistrate's court and stuff like that. So that is 15 November 1974, that Carib Club story and other club land horror histories, because we're looking at so this brings it back into the 21st century from 1974, because it hasn't changed. Club policies in terms of using Black music but stopping and discriminating from African clientele. a lot of, I don't say a lot, but some Western clubs discriminate against Africans, but the music that fuels their business is black music. So there's all this sort of dichotomy. So that will be highlighted on November 15th. And then November 22nd, this is an important one. We're working with the Du Bois Center Library in Massachusetts on this. A lot of people know about the 1945 Pan-African Congress, which happened in Manchester. Fair enough. But few know about the congresses that came before. And one of those preceding congresses happened in London in 1921. So we'll be marking the centenary of the 1921 Pan-African Congress in London, and using resources from the Du Bois Center, which is not common. It's available free, but if you're not proactive in getting that information, you didn't know. So that is something definitely worth checking out, because we can't always hack back to 1945. There were other congresses that are worth checking out. And then on November 29th, we've got something called the True History of African/Black History Month in the UK. And I say true because a lot of people go on the internet and repeat what they see on the internet. And I have to say also, one person who was there has got, what should I say, a bit of an amnesia. So her history isn't quite correct. And the good thing is that that person contacted me because they want me to post something. I said, I'm happy to do that. But you have to realize that if you want to say that Black History Month was about African and Asian history, I'll post it, but I have to put an addendum, because the whole point of Black History Month was predicated on something called the African Jubilee Year 1987 to 1988 Declaration. Nowhere did they talk about any other people than African people. If you look at the logo of the declaration or the African Jubilee Year, it speaks to the 150th anniversary of the so-called emancipation of African people in the British Caribbean. It speaks to the 100th anniversary of the birth of Marcus Garvey, whose image is quite large in that logo. And in fact, you will find out if you come to this event, because I'm going back to the original sources, the London Strategic Policy Unit. That's the unit that birthed Black History Month, not the GLC, Greater London Council, which a lot of people mistakenly said no. It was birthed by because in 1987, people forget, and it's over the internet, they talk about the GLC. The GLC was abolished in 1986. So how could they have birthed Black History Month in 1987? Okay. So yeah. And lastly, I have to say, the African Jubilee Year 1987 to 88 logo also speaks to the 25th anniversary of the founding of the OAU, Organization of African Unity. Nowhere does it speak to Asians. By right, have got to celebrate their history, but not Black History Month, because it was about the African experience. So if you want the true history, please join us on November 29th.
I'm going to make an executive decision. I hope that Lady Chelsea might support what I'm about to say. You are a rich source of information. You are an obvious program. I wish to cordially invite you to come back next week, and let us do some really thorough review of some of these historical events. And what you've just said in relation to Black History Month, I believe is profound observation, and the connection with the African Jubilee, something that many of our community have forgotten, because we've never taught it.
Sure.
So this will be truly an empowerment program. Just that alone, that piece of information alone will take us forward. But much of what you've said requires some, I believe, useful interaction between us. I'll sit down with Lady Chelsea. We'll look at how we can ensure that the key features of what you described, piece of information, are communicated to the audience, to a much wider audience. That is what we've got to do.
I
With
will
your
appreciate.
permission, of course.
No, no, no. I will appreciate that. So I look forward to come back next week. Can I just quickly say the last three, just in case a listener or two may be interested? Then we've got on December 6th, African History in Britain, those who built our foundation. Today, we know those that are doing the work now. But who built the foundation? Who are doing exhibitions? Who are doing African history programs? Who are writing the books well before 1987? And of course, we also will be highlighting those doing the works as of now. Then December 13th, we've got the men with ships and preaching back to Africa before Marcus Garvey. A lot of people think Marcus Garvey's work was just back to Africa. No, in fact, I've written an article on blackhistorymonth.org.uk that says that back to Africa was not the main focus of Marcus Garvey's work. And also, people look at Black Star Liner, that never got to Africa. We're talking about people who went from North Africa to Africa, and people who are ships coming from Africa to North Africa. And then lastly, we've got UK African women self-organizing. That's 20th October in our last program. We want to highlight African women and African-led organizations. There have been a lot since the 70s. Who are they? Let's know. Let's highlight them, and it will be a networking situation for a lot of these women who've retired, who are not as active, just to chew the fat and tell us what they did in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, that type of thing. So that's me. As I said, if you're interested, just check out African History Plus, PLUS, AfricanHistoryPlus.eventbrite.com. And my brother, Councillor Seaton and Lady Chelsea, thanks a lot for the opportunity to sort of cascade the information about what we do.
Right. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for that whirlwind tour, of course. But thank you for all the work that you do. And we want to give light to you next week. We want you to stay strong and healthy. Thank you, Brother Kwaku. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Hey, devastating, huh? Devastating. And I hadn't realized that to connect Black History Month with the African Jubilee celebrations all decades ago, And he's right. The GLC didn't start the Black History Month because it had been abolished, So, again, so we're getting back so we can correct history, That will be truly an empowerment experience.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I see we've got 9972 on the line.
Elder Norman,
Good morning.
It's me, Martin.
Oh, thank you, my elder.
I'll just let one of your other contributors take place.
No.
So just see who you got there.
Yes, it was tremendous, wasn't he? He was a natural historian. You and him are very similar, I've got to say, huh? Mailda, can you hear?
Yes, I can. I can hear you. I was saying that.
She thought there was going to be another caller, and you're talking about the caller that just came on. A bit of confusion.
Can you hear?
Know what's going on?
No, she's gone quiet.
I haven't gone quiet.
Okay, I'm just saying that your Brother Quadco and yourself are very similar. You are both natural historians.
Thank you.
And you both are able to provide historical correlations that us younger persons may well have forgotten or may not have been taught. In
other words, we are like a library.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And we consider the knowledge you have, the experience you have, to be of such high importance that we hope both you and Brother Kwako will continue to record your knowledge in digital form so that you and your voices will be with us for the next 100, 200, or 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want, my elder. I hope you approve.
Yes, I do.
Good.
Yes, I do.
I'm going to put you back over to Lady Chelsea, okay? Because he's quiet at the moment, and I do too much talking. And I know that Lady Chelsea may well have a few more questions. And she doesn't. I'll put a question. We put another question to you, because I know that others are listening now, and after Brother Kwaku is interesting. Does your experience, my elder, means that you consider yourself to be an integral part of British society? Does it mean,
yes,
or do you still feel as if you are a foreigner here in this country? I know you're from Jamaica, and you should really be in Jamaica. Do you feel this is your country now?
I do, because I've been here. I don't know any different.
Mm-hmm.
If I lived in the West, I'm from Jamaica, if I lived in Jamaica until I was an adult or a teenager, then I probably would. I don't really know anywhere else. So most of my schooling was done here in England. So as far as I'm concerned, my knowledge is here. All my children are born here. My grandchildren are born here. My great-grandchildren are born here. I still consider Jamaica to be a home of my birth, but as my residency, it's here. As I said, I can't remember very much about Jamaica. I've been back, and I actually did find it very difficult when I went back, and that was because I left as a child, so very young child. So your question was, do I feel part of British society? Yes, and I also make myself part of it. I involve myself in what's going on. I am not dictated to by anybody what's going on. I make sure, as you know, the motivator, in my own community where I live, I'm involved in everything. If there's a hole in the road, you soon know it.
Yes.
Whatever is going on in where I live, the area I live in, everybody knows about it. It doesn't matter. My voice is quite loud. But the point is this, where I live, I protect. So lot of people don't feel that way. And I think it's people who probably have arrived from different countries as a matured person and still got memory of where they originally came from or born. I actually don't. I could ask you the same question as well, the motivator. What do you think? How do you consider yourself here or from somewhere else?
Most certainly. There is no doubt. If I was in Jamaica now, I will be considered very much an English person, just simply by my accent. Okay, not maybe by my consciousness, of course, but most certainly by my accent, because this is what I know. Yeah. So I hear you. Yes. I know that Lady Chelsea may well have a question for you.
Yeah. I just want to know how, or if you teach Jamaican culture to your children, grandchildren, how have you been able to pass it on, living and growing up in England?
I haven't actually teach them as such Jamaican culture. I leave that more or less to their parents, but we do talk about our family history from Jamaica. We found our family history. Actually, the grandchildren are doing it now. Not so much my children didn't, but my grandchildren do. And they're, because you've got the internet now, so they learn a lot about Jamaican history. I haven't taught them a lot because as I said, I left at a very young age, so I don't know very much of what happened. But I've told them the bits that I can remember, the bits about our land, how we obtained the land we've got. It was given to our family after slavery was abolished. Some people took money. Our family took land, and we still got the land. We've even got what is called, in this country, it's called a breeze mill. No, it's called a windmill, this country. This country is called a windmill. In Jamaica, it's called breeze mill. Don't ask me why. And that's where they used to grind the sugar. Well, that's on our land. It's been there all these centuries. Okay. And so I'll explain this to the children, why it's there and such forth. But to say a lot of the history, it's only probably what I've read on the internet from Jamaica that I can tell them. But my actual experience is very limited. I can tell them some things, like, for instance, in Jamaica, where I came from, is St. Thomas. And that's a seaport town.
Yes.
That's where the ship leaves to come to England with the banana and the sugar.
Yes, where
And
Mount
then
Bay.
I could,
Yeah.
that's right, where you come from, the Motivator, yes. And I could explain to them how the ship took the sugar and the banana, where did the banana came from, how they got paid. You ring a little bell,
Yes.
and the man give you a little coin or a disc, and the man put the banana on the ship.
Yes.
And then in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you go to the pay department, give the coin in, and you get your payment for the banana that you brought in. Things like that I could tell them. But the actual history of the island, I couldn't.
I know Lady Chris got another question for you, Mailda.
Yeah.
So what about cooking? Especially, I don't know how many things are important at your time.
You mean cooking? Yes. Cooking,
yeah, cooking.
Yes. Cooking, yes. Cooking, they all taught to cook. The grandchildren do come now to learn to cook curry. And they're master at it now. So they learn how to go to the shop, buy the ingredients, come back to the house, and we show them how to prepare it. So now that's for them to pass on to their children.
Yeah.
But they can cook. And as coming to Boxing Day, I used to do the cooking. Now I just help to prepare. So they're still learning. So so they learn to prepare because they're the younger people now. I can't be standing in the kitchen frying no chicken. No. They got they got. But they can cook. We've taught them how to cook, and we taught them how to shop, what ingredients to look for, the cut of meat to look for, and they can cook. So the children can cook. We've taught them that. And so now we've also, they quite good at calling me to ask me family history. Like, for instance, when did Nanny, which was my mother, she came 6 months after the Windrush. So they wanted to know, when did Nanny come? This great Nanny. What was the name of the ship? Now we find all those documents so we can tell them. She came on the Empress of Australia, 1948, November. And we found, and actually they were called aliens.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what they were called. On the top of the paper, it said alien. And it also said what she was coming here to do and where she was going to stay. The house is still there. It's in Broccoli. And I can tell them the story that she told me is that she moved in to stay with another relative who was very, very fair. So the people in the area thought, well, she was white. My mother went to stay with her in the winter. And the neighbors never saw my mother. But came the spring, when my mother was going to work one morning, one of the neighbors spotted her coming out. And that was the end of that. She wasn't allowed to stay there anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. So she left with her grip to Lyons Corner House, which I don't know how many people know what that is. It's similar to McDonald's. And that's where all West Indian meet up to find out where there's a job, share in a room, and so forth. And that's where she stayed the night until she found a room with someone else.
Right.
So this is the sort of thing I tell my children. And a lot of that you can find in the internet if you're looking for your own family back from any part of the Caribbean. The shipping list, they're on the shipping list. You can find the shipping list. And you see their name, how old they were, what they were coming to do, and so on and so forth. But you need to get the children to look these things up, and then they'll ask you a question, and then that's how you answer the question. Similar to my answering your question now, Lady Chelsea.
I understand. That's good to hear.
And it's good to see Lady Chelsea is in the sun, you know.
I know, it's really bright.
Oh, I wish I was in the sun right now. I envy her. She's sitting in the sun there, Mailda. She's in the sun. Mailda, I'm going to let you go now. I realize we've had you on for a long time. I want to thank you for your words of wisdom.
But before I leave, Martin, I leave you with a quote.
Of course.
I'll leave you. Yeah, I'll leave you with. Yeah, I'll leave it. Those who know should teach. That's an African proverb.
Yes.
Did you get that? Those who know must teach. That's an African proverb. Just answering Lady Chelsea's question. Deep family roots, strong branches.
Yes.
And I'll let you all decide on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
No, thank you for
so
calling.
much. Thank you for those wise words. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah? Thank you so much. And of course, Elder Norma reminds us, success is ours for the taking. Yeah. This is an open mic weekender, and this is positive messages for a positive people. Be positive, people. Be positive. And together we can be transformative. Absolutely transformative. Look, the sun is shining on Lady Chelsea. Boy, don't I envy you? I'm looking at this side. The sun was shining on me, like it's shining on you. Yeah, that's God's energy. You're absorbing it now fully. You'll be so re-energized with that energy.
Let's hope.
Ancestors are talking to you. Oh my dear. I hear you though. I hear you. What I'm empowered by, just listening to a few of the callers, and I know we missed a number of them because the others were talking. If you wish to call back now, we've got maybe another 10 minutes of we can take callers, and we'll have to close down. But let me give out the number once more. So the number to call, it's 0203 481 5240. And of course, the PIN number to enter, it's 3707 33 43 97, followed by the # sign, which of course is the vertical and horizontal symbol on your keypad. Okay, love to hear from you. Lady Chelsea, what's your impression so far of the program? What's your impression?
That's been really good. They've all had something really positive to say. There's a lot of events happening, the Black history and stuff like that, which I didn't know about before. So hopefully, people will go and join. I don't know why with the fave is coming here and dropping gems and stuff. So what she said I think was very inspiring, and like you said, common sense, but not all common sense is common. So
I hear you. Not all common sense makes sense at times, but this is the whole purpose of this. And I'm also minded to say that for many people who are listening and will listen to the recording of this, I want to make sure it's understood. I mentioned that it's important, if you're not part of an organization, an African-led and resource organization, I wish to positively encourage the listeners to do so, because therefore you're able to network with members of your community, like-minded members of the community, like Elder Norma, for example, or Elder Kwaku, for example, who I note it's been mainly slightly older members of the community who are listening and have called in to provide that positive message. And it goes to show that it's that wisdom, understanding the wisdom of why it's important for us to be positive, confident, assertive. And it's those characteristics that will enable us to see the change, the growth, wholesomeness, growth that we so desire. Okay, I see we've got another caller coming in now. I'll take this caller straight away this time. Give this person an opportunity. Caller with number ending 9034. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Motivator, and also to Lady Chelsea. Good morning. It's Brother Akram.
Oh, good morning.
I just want to thank you for the inviting me on your show some weeks back, and it was quite an interesting program. And I'm still to get in touch with our brother from the credit union.
Yes.
The reason for that
if I may,
because
but I can just give a big shout out again for the PCU, or the Pentecostal Credit Union, which is Britain's largest black financial institution. They are a institution with the highest reputation. Yeah, they have a robust internal governance, and they operate with the utmost integrity. I commend the Pentecostal Credit Union to all the listeners, and those of you who do not yet have an account with them, I positively encourage you to open up an account with the Pentecostal Credit Union. And despite its name, or PCU, it welcomes new accounts from all members of the community, and indeed wider communities as well. Let's ensure that they remain a strong financial institution within our community. I want to give a big shout out to them. You can find them, just use a search engine, and you can find them, the Pentecostal Credit Union. There you go. Okay. Sorry, but I can continue.
No, most certainly. I mean, as I said, we must support the things that we have. If we want to remain strong in this country, it's important that we develop our community, and by developing our community, it means supporting the institutions that we have. I mean, if we don't, then what is the point really of complaining, you know? Yeah, as I said, I'm Akram from the African Cooperative Union. It was we started it in the 2010, but we launched it in 2013. We're still looking for members. We're still trying to develop it up. Every day there's new challenges, and right now at the moment we have a new chairman, and we are trying to develop the website. He's a young person, so he's got a lot of young new ideas as young people should have, and I'm hoping that many more young people can come on board, because basically it is for them. You know what I mean? They can't say that we have not tried to do something for them.
Yes.
If they don't want to take advantage of it, then it's to their detriment. But
can I ask you, my brethren? Can I ask you, my brethren? Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just conscious of our time now. Can you give out the website details, or telephone number, or an email address for those who wish to join the African Credit Union can make contact with yourselves?
Yeah, it's a cooperative union, African Cooperative Union.
Forgive me. Yes, in fact. Thank you.
Yeah, African with a K, and
absolutely.
We have a website, and anyone can go to our website. There are several ways to come to our website. You can go to www.acu.coop, and you'll come to our website, or you can go to African with a K, African Cooperative Union.com. You can email us at info@acu.coop, or info@African again with a K, African Cooperative Union.com. We have a telephone number, which is 0759 989 4082. If you want, I can repeat that again.
Yes.
It's 0759 989 4082. And as I said, we are registered with the FCA. So if anybody has any issues with trying to check out our credibility, we have a registration number, which is with the Financial Conduct Authority. It's registration number 31807 Romeo R 7R. So yeah, so we are, as I said, we're registered with the Financial Conduct Authority, because, as I said, we hope to have a legitimate organization, which, as I said, many people are complaining over the years that
Thank you.
things are not done properly. So
my brethren, I want to thank you for that. That's another one of those positive messages. Can you just hold just one moment? I see we've got another call online, and we've only got a few minutes. Caller number ending 3133. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Motivator. Good morning, Lady Chelsea.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
You have a positive message to share with us.
Yes, I do. Well, I just hope it's important as well. It is just my own community where I'm African, Nigerian. What I notice most of the problem we having from onset from the airport. But most of us, when we are coming from there, we have a lot of plans to do when we get here. But we don't actually disclose them. And then when we get inside, we make lots of mistakes that put us backwards to actually actualizing our dreams. And I'm just thinking to myself, if there's an organization that will act like a first contact, like when these people are coming, you go there, you register yourself, tell them who you are, where you are going and everything. And they can hold you on board for 1 year at least. They get to know what you want, they help you through accommodation, education, and everything. Because in most of the time, we fall into hands of the wrong people. Maybe going to the wrong churches, you meet wrong men that will give you wrong information and kill your dream there and then. By the time you know it, you are lost. And that is always the basis. And the problem, most African, well, for me, my own community, Nigerians, we know. Some of them will just come, stay with their sister or their brother, whatsoever they call it. It may not be real. And these people will only show them things that will pay them, that will benefit them, not necessarily actualizing the dream of these people that are coming from Africa, Nigeria. So I'm thinking of an organization to take care of this. Because if we take care of this from the point of entrance, there will be less trouble inside.
Okay.
People will
Let
be
me
able
offer a response to you. Forgive me, I'm just conscious of time. We've got maybe only a minute or so. What I'm going to do, I've taken note of your number. I believe that you should be speaking with the Global African Congress, okay? And the Global African Congress can be UK can be found on Facebook under the name Global African Congress UK, or indeed you can also find them via the website, which is www.gacuk.org.uk. Okay, I repeat, www.gacuk.org.uk. And I believe that you find that the Global African Congress will be an ideal organization for Africans to make contact with in order that they're able to better cope with life here in Britain. I commend the Global African Congress to you, okay? But I've got your number and I will send you details after the show directly. Is that okay?
That's fine, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to let you go now because we've got a minute or so left of the show, but thank you for taking the trouble to call us. And if I may also go back to Brother Akram.
Yes, she is correct. I mean, we need, we have, and thank you for giving that information because it's vitally important that we do connect with our communities in order to strengthen ourselves.
That's right.
So thank you very much, and thank you, Lady Chelsea. Keep up doing the good work.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would say thank you to you both callers for calling in. The show is about to end now, so thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been a brilliant show, Lady Chelsea. Huh? Yeah. Positive messages for positive people. Huh? How do you feel now? Huh? How do you feel?
Positive. Very
Huh?
positive.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we can continue to do better. We will do better. Yeah. We will grow. No inertia is going to be stopping us. You know, we will grow. Growth is our right. Yeah. We will become wealthier, healthier, stronger, more determined. You know, we will realize our ambitions. You know, we're never going to stop. Yeah. Never going to stop. Thank you, Lady Chelsea. Huh?
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to you all for listening. Yeah. Stay strong and prosper. Yeah. Success is ours for the taking. Yeah. Positive messages for positive people. Be positive. Yeah. Be positive. Hey. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Good day to you all. Good day.